Who is Justice Amadou Tanko? Justice Amadou Tanko is one of those rare Ghanaian lawyers who trained in Nigeria. You don't have many Ghanaian lawyers training in Nigeria, but he's one of the rare Ghanaian lawyers who trained in Nigeria. When I first met Justice Amadou Tanko sometime around 2002, 2003, he was in the law firm of Ambrose Derry, the former minister for Interior. Ambrose Derry is a member of parliament. He and Justice Amadou Tanko were in the same law firm. Now, guess what? In that law firm was Thaddeus Sori, one of the famous lawyers today, the lead lawyer at the bar, Thaddeus Sori, the Liverpool man. Thaddeus Sori was in that firm as well. And also, the daughter of the former president, Liman, Hila Liman's daughter, Lida Liman, was also in that firm. Now, they had an office at the bus stop in Accra, what we call the bus stop restaurant. They had a beautiful office there. So I was used to work at Joy FM at that time. So I'll just always go there and go and have a chat with them. And Amadou Tanko was quite interested in football. So Mr. Yampofo Ankra, who was my colleague at Joy FM, who is now the boss of the National Sports Authority, the two of us will go and talk to Amadou Tanko. We struck an acquaintance. And I think that in those days, Kwesi Nyantechi, the former chairman of the Ghana Football Association, was friends with that law firm because Kwesi Nyantechi and Thaddeus Sori were very close in those days. So Amadou Tanko, I believe, got on the seat of the GFA's legal committee, something like that. So on Saturdays, we'll go to Tema. Viewers, forgive me for saying this. I hope Justice Tanko will forgive me. I'm blowing up his cover a little bit. I've not seen him in many, many years. I don't remember the last time I saw him, but this is the story. So we'll go to Tema and go and be at Agbamami. Those of you who are in Tema, do you know Agbamami? We've done plenty of things. So Saturday, my Ampofanka will call me, Adom, you there? I was telling me we go. Then I was in Sakumo, now I just drive past Committee 3, and then we have Agbamami. Tanko will be there. And then Tanko was very expressive. And why I liked to hear his arguments, in those days, the lawyers were always arguing in the afternoon in their law firm. So they come back from court, they're always arguing. And it was beautiful to look at. If you listen to that, you will want to become a lawyer. And I believe that's part of what led me to the Faculty of Law at the University of Ghana as a postgraduate student. So Tanko was always arguing with his friends, and he always cites Nigerian authorities. And Ambrose Derry will shake his head and say, you and this, your Nigerian things. And Tanko will list a lot the Nigerian authorities. I mean, they were very famous. There's a particular name that is not coming to my head. I should have asked Sori today about that famous idol of Amadou Tanko that he always used to mention. Anyway, so that was Justice Tanko. And that's where he used to work. In those days, I used to go there because they were lawyers for Malam Issa. Now, Malam Issa, those of you who don't know the story, just a quick one. Malam Issa had been sports minister appointed by Kufuor from the PNC. And in that law firm, a lot of them were PNC. You can imagine Hilary Man was PNC. I don't remember. I think Ambrose Derry was PNC too. And Amadou Tanko, I can't remember his political affiliation at that time. I don't think he had any. So they were doing the Malam Issa case. So I'll go to them and sort of go and listen. And I fell in love with the way they were defending Malam Issa. I was quite disappointed when Malam Issa lost the case. I was so disappointed that I went to Nsawan prison to visit Malam Issa. You can imagine that. I drove all the way to Nsawan prison. I saw Malam Issa. I said, Paul, I'm going to come out. I felt so sad. I mean, those were the days. So I think Malam Issa is out. He's been out for a very long time. He got a pardon and all that. So that's what I know about Amadou Tanko. He's one of the rare Ghanaian lawyers who cuts his teeth at the bar in Nigeria. So that's Amadou Tanko. Those days when I was in Jubilee House corridors of power when I heard that Akufo-Addo was considering Malam Issa I became very excited. I think I must have texted Thaddeus Sori that your man is being considered for Supreme Court, something like that. And there were some people who had different opinions. The opinions were shared. Akufo-Addo felt that how can we have a nation that has Muslims and then the Supreme Court has never had a Muslim? He thought that was wrong. And so he jumped onto the idea that Amadou Tanko be elevated to the Supreme Court. I think he came straight from the bar, if I believe, or did he come from the Court of Appeal? I can't remember. Somebody should check. But I think it was on that basis that Amadou Tanko was elevated because the president felt that, look, we needed to get Amadou Tanko in there. So Amadou Tanko is in pole position to become. Now, politically, would you say that if you look at the recent past, Amadou Tanko led the recent ruling in the Daniel Ofori matter, which may have had some political connotations, but he was also the lead lawyer in the Kevin Taylor matter, in the certiorari, I believe, that overturned the Chamber 4 issue. Amadou Tanko was the lead lawyer. He wrote the lead opinion of the 5-4-1. The 4-1 majority decision. Amadou Tanko wrote the lead opinion. So perhaps politically he stands in very good stead. I don't know whether that's going to be a consideration. But yes, Amadou Tanko is right in there for the position. He's in pole position. Justice Paul Bafoboni, His supporters felt that he had been overlooked for Justice Tokonu to become. In fact, in the Tokonu situation, Amadou Tanko was, Bafuboni was not even second. Justice Kulendi was second, and Tokonu was first. Tokonu got it. Now, supporters of Bafuboni felt that he had been overlooked. Maybe part of the reason why Justice Bafuboni may have been overlooked is that he was a Kumasi-based High Court lawyer, and he's very, he's a Kumasi guy. Perhaps it was felt that he had such a fantastic relationship with Kwesi Eni-Yeboah that moving from Eni-Yeboah to Bafuboni might have been giving the job to the same sect of people, something like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But people who support Bafuboni felt that Bafuboni had been overlooked in that decision, and that Bafuboni perhaps for the seniority should have been given the job. So when Bafuboni was made acting Chief Justice, some people were excited about it. I've seen him once since he became acting Chief Justice. He's a very good guy. He's a big supporter of Liverpool Football Club. Justice Bafuboni is expected to become the Chief Justice because he's been acting and he's a senior most. But that's not the decision making. That's not how the decision is made. It's not just about that. That's an important consideration, but it's not just about that. But those who want to have sleeping dogs lying and have the system working normally, don't change anything, don't dramatically do anything. All of them are urging President Mahama that you already have an acting Chief Justice. Just go on with it. What is the point? Justice Bafuboni will retire in December 2026. So why do you overlook him and let him be acting Chief Justice? Then he comes down, he's no longer acting. Another person becomes Chief Justice. Then he is now behind that person. And then 2026 December, you let him go. Is it fair? I don't know whether fairness is the name of the game or something else. Political, judicial, legal, cultural, religion. All of these things can come into the decision in the mind of the president or how these things work. So we don't know how that will go. But those who support Bafuboni think that do not invent the wheel. This is okay. The guy is acting. Let him go. Good luck to Paul Bafuboni in this matter. Next is the philosopher king. That's how I call him. The philosopher king. Now, if you look at the Supreme Court and you're looking for the philosophy of law, it resides in Kulendi. There's no doubt about that. The most philosophical based lawyer, the Aristotle of the Supreme Court is Justice Yoni Kulendi. There's absolutely no doubt about that. If you're looking for a lawyer who is going to mount the Chief Justice situation and bring up rulings that are novel, that can shake the system, it is Yoni Kulendi. Now, Justice Kulendi was new at the court when he immediately came into the consideration for Supreme Court, for Chief Justice. Somehow it didn't go his way. Some people are thinking that, okay, you had Kulendi in the grand final and you gave it to Tokonu. Tokonu is not there. There's nowhere else to go. Just give it to Kulendi because you are looking to have a Supreme Court that is dynamic, and you can get that with the Chief Justice Yoni Kulendi. Yoni Kulendi has big support among the pastoral group, the charismatic Christian pastors and some of the Pentecostals. Yoni Kulendi has a huge support base there because Justice Kulendi is one of those lawyers who never hid his connection with the charismatic church. He never hid it. And he's been at the forefront of the charismatic church. He has excellent relations with all the major charismatic pastors. When the ICGC story of Capital Bank broke, Justice Kulendi on his own offered support to the church, ICGC and Pastor Otabel and all of that. So he has a big connection with the charismatic church. And you know that President Mahama has also a very loud connection with the charismatic assembly. So if the decision is going to go that way, you can see that the major charismatic voices are going to back Yoni Kulendi to become the Lord Chief Justice. We don't know how that's going to go. Good luck to my good friend and senior Justice Yoni Kulendi. And anyone who knows Yoni Kulendi knows that his wife's name is Emefa, and they are very, very close. You cannot know Kulendi without knowing Emefa. So good luck to them, and hope that President Mahama will look their way. But Justice Kulendi has more time. He's very young. He's only 62. Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu's call is coming from the gender-based activists who are saying that, listen, you cannot treat a woman this way and bring a man. You can't do that. If you have taken a woman out, you have to bring a woman. Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu was on the minority decision, in the 3-2 decision that ousted Tokonu at the Supreme Court. The Asifwa case, which was very, very important. Now, if the Asifwa case had gone the other way, perhaps Justice Tokonu would still have been in the chair, if that case had gone the other way. But that case went to the side against Tokonu. 3-2, very slim. Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu was on the part of the two. So the human rights people and the UK Bar Association, Ghana Bar Association, and all of those legal thinkers, all the Samuel Okudzeto, all the important legal thinkers are thinking that, look, if you want somebody with a really fair mind in this heated political divisiveness in Ghana, you are looking for Professor Justice Mensah Bonsu. That's the one you are looking for. You don't want to have anybody else because she has demonstrated that she doesn't pander to the whims and caprices of politicians. And that's really what we need. Whether you are MPP or NDC, Professor Mensah Bonsu remains in the middle. She is faithful to the law. That's what it's about. Because in the heat of the Tokonu crisis, she stood out and ruled against the majority that no, this is wrong, and that the president's letter, the petition has not been handled properly, and that an injunction should be placed on it. That was Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu. Very fair, very firm, very strong, and very astute legally. She is one of the best criminal law experts in Ghana. So it is believed by all of those groups of people that if you are looking for a decision that is not animated by politics, then Professor Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu is the way you should go. Full stop. Okay. So Avril Enieboa fits the same kind of bill. She wasn't in the case, but she's also a woman. So those who are saying that, okay, if you don't like Professor Mensah Bonsu, then there's Avril Enieboa, because you have to replace with a woman. You can't not take a woman out and bring in a man. That's wrong. Anyway, so that's where we are on the matter. So I will have to eliminate one. If you ask me to eliminate, I will eliminate Avril Enieboa. She's gone. So it's going to be a decision of the four. Either Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu will get it, Justice Yoni Kulendi will get it, Justice Paul Bafoboni will continue what he is doing, but now formally, or Amadou Tanko will become the next.